And all right, we are live. So I want to thank you guys for joining my little game here for Nauticon weekend. We're going to be doing Drop Dead, and I'm already talking over myself. So basic premise is all of you are students at college. The year is 1984. Russell, you've taken on the role as a dungeon master for this campaign that you've been running all semester long. Most of the time it's been in the cafeteria or the lounge room, wherever the case might be. But you had this awesome idea, and luckily your friend Chex here is part of the janitorial team. You've heard stories about the old under dormitory rooms under Building 6. Years and years ago, they had supposedly a fire here and it burned the place to the ground. They rebuilt up and around it, but the whole sub-basement levels were unharmed, so they just used that as the base foundation and built up. The foundations now have all been closed away, most of the tunnels sealed and whatnot. But luckily, Chex has some keys down into those under tunnels, those old dormitory rooms and cafeteria areas and lounges. So you decided this would be the perfect opportunity to set the tone for the final session of your campaign. I'm going to go across the bottom, let you guys introduce your characters, and then we can kind of build from there. So Chex, you're up first on my screen, so why don't you go first?
Well, of course, this is the 80s. So I am clearly at the height of fashion with my Gumby jacket covered in patches, Slayer, Metallica, Striper, all the good stuff. And don't forget the obligatory mullet.
Oh,
No.
yes.
What was it they say? Party in the back, business in the front?
That's what it is.
That's what it is.
Yeah, exactly.
I can picture you as a mullet too. That's so easy to do. Let's see who's next. Michael, why don't you go for it and tell us all about you?
Well, I was in college in '84, so
Even better.
this just totally reminds me of that. Basically, I was just a farm hick that was really interested in actually learning and in the arts, and a lot of the times I was a big kid, 6 foot, 275 pounds, clean shaven, but I was the work boots, blue jeans, flannel shirt type of guy with the obligatory boot knife, just in case, those Ruskies come after you. So, yeah, and D&D and that was something that we always kept hidden because you didn't want any of the other mates to figure out that you were actually throwing dice.
Yep.
That wasn't craps. That was... That's kind of me in a nutshell.
Got it. And Russell, why don't you go for it?
Okay, so I am an international student. I've come to study in the US from South Africa. I really have embraced the American culture, so much so that my hair is very much like a bouffant, kind of that like wild 80s bouffanty hair. And my jeans are got a lot of buckles on them. There's buckles and straps all over, and I've got a shirt that's short in the front and long in the back, kind of very psychedelic.
That is a beautiful outfit. All right. So as Chex gets you guys down into this hallway, you can go through the main commons of the Building 6. Off to the side, it goes to the janitorial room and through a back door that leads down 1 story below the building into the basement. This is only set for faculty and the people that have the keys and stuff. You know you're not supposed to be down here, but that doesn't matter right now. As you walk down through, Chex, you got your keys in hand, you open up this door and head on down the stairs. It's one long hallway, doors on either side. At the end of it, it tees off in both directions. But Russell, you set up the third room that would be 1 door on the right, second on the left, and then third on the right again. is the room that you're going to be running this game in. You were down here a little early, and we were able to kind of get things prepped up and stuff. So as all of you walk in, you can see it's basically maybe like a 20 by 20 foot square room. Nothing too fancy. Nice stone walls. They seem a little grimy, a little dirty. You know, it's been closed off for a long time. Cobwebs hang down on just a cord that hangs down above this table that's been set up. And it's just one of those fold out tables. And kind of the flaps come up on either side with a leaf in the middle. Is just one of those old yellow dingy bulbs that hangs on a cord above it. Kind of fades in and out a little bit, flickers here and there. It doesn't look like the electricity is the best down here, but gives you enough light to roll some dice by and read your character sheet. Like I said, the room itself is pretty square for the most part. There isn't any other furniture in here besides your table and chairs, which you guys brought in. You can see along the walls, there's all different graffiti, band names, a huge pentagram in the middle. The center of it sort of has that goat face looking sort of skull. And then you see right underneath that, kind of written, it looks almost like it's done in a permanent marker or a fine, like a Sharpie type of pen or something. It says, "You Manny is a narc." It has it underlined a little bit. Besides that, Russell, why don't you describe if you brought anything or what you got and kind of kick things off as you would.
Yeah, so we're actually playing AD&D first edition. I've got my DM screen set up. I've got the standard polyhedral dice that were available then. So you had, instead of a D10 that's got 10, 20, 30, that's just 0 to 9. So I've got 2 0 to 9. On me, there is some soda that I brought down. So there's some Coca-Cola for us to drink, and some sort of snacks as well. Everyone is got a place. I put some candles up just as a mood enhancer, and there is an old AD&D First Edition DM screen that's been set up in front of me, and I've got a kind of a small little radio with a tape inside, and I've pressed the play button on it, and it's got some like kind of eerie, scary music, which I thought would fit very well to the coming through to the basement here.
Beautiful. I say check you the first one to walk into this room, see everything laid out, kind of sling your backpack over upon your chair and pull it out. Mike, you behind him, and then Russell, you come in as you get ready. You did have a plan to have another person here tonight, but don't look like they're going to make it. So you decided to kind of kick things off a little bit. Where you're sitting at, checks in Mike on the other side of this DM screen. You haven't seen this one that he's brought before. Normally he has the standard one. It's kind of set up for the old A&D and has the old artwork and the Senator and other stuff across the front of it. If you're looking at this one, though, it looks almost like it was hand-drawn. The images seem to move slightly. It's, you know, the 80s when they used to have those little cards that you used to look at, and depending on how you move the card, you saw different images. You kind of get the same vibe from this DM screen that he has set up. And both of you feel this sort of lightheadedness a little bit. I mean, the room around you, almost like an oil painting, melts around you. And you can see this green grass beneath your feet. And you look over your shoulders, and you can see the front main college campus, the main offices set before you, but it looks old. It doesn't quite look the same as it does now. It's not as big. And you don't see any of these other dormitories that you used to seeing. And the lake off to the side looks less manicured, little less tame, I guess. And when you look up at this college building, these offices, you see a man. He's old, probably still within his prime, though maybe he's upper 40s at the most. Real broad shoulders and a strong build. And he stands in the balcony of this big building, staring out across the lake. He stands silent for a few moments and then just lets out this scream of agony. His posture is very stiff, and he stands tall, but you can see it looks like he suffered greatly from something. You can see a glimmer of this light on his cheek that you recognize as a tear. And as he brings his hands up, between his hands is a young girl's dress. It looks small, maybe like a 8, 9, 10-year-old type girl. And it has a small bouquet of daisies along with it that he's holding in his hands. He lets out another scream, and you can hear this sound of a crackling fire, the sparks rising up behind him, behind this building, thick smoke coming over and starting to wash over top the rooftop of this building. And it turns into this gray fog-like smear across the yellow sun. With that, he bows his head down, falls to his knees. You can see his whole body shakes with this sobbing. The flowers fall from his hand, as does this dress. And they drift down to the ground as you're watching all of this. You can hear another scream. And the camera itself kind of spins around a little bit. And it shows both of your faces with this sort of confused, not sure sort of look. And you can see the water behind you. Russell, it seems as you're getting ready to do all of this, the other two just have this completely blank stare on their face, like they don't even notice you're talking to them. What do you do?
I'll go up to them. I go, dudes, and kind of like shake them on the shoulder, trying to get them just to be a little bit more attentive.
As both of you look at this, everything again starts to sort of melt like an oil painting in water. And again, you just see Russell staring back at you, kind of snapping you out of it, and trying to look at, see, what's wrong with you guys, kind of thing.
Do they? Oh, go ahead.
Well, Russell, what'd you put down here, man? You like smudging with pot or something? Because I feel like I got a contact bus and I just got here.
I was going to ask you and Chex the same thing, man. I'm feeling a little bit lightheaded.
I haven't had anything yet.
That was weird. Like we kind of like warped out, as if. Did you guys warp out as well?
Yeah, there was a building. Some old guy with a girl's dress and screaming and flames crackling. That's what I kind of remember.
Chex, did you see that as well?
You all saw that? I just figured I was having a flashback or something.
Oh man, this place is starting to creep me out a little bit. I'll be honest.
They probably just got a bunch of chemicals stored down here, and we're just getting high off the fumes. I thought you checked this place out, Chex.
I did. Always. I mean, it was all okay when I came down here. I saw the graffiti on the wall. I mean, this place is perfect. And if you get
did you
use
anything to clean it?
Did you just ask me if I cleaned?
Well, on the janitor stuff, I just thought, did any of you guys clean down here with some strong chemicals or anything?
Have you ever seen a janitor in this place clean anything?
Oh, dudes, let's just forget about it. I don't know what the fuck went on there, man. Let's just get down to gaming.
That sounds good to me.
Yeah, Manowar Barbarian needs to kill stuff.
Yeah, exactly. All right. I think just hand me some of those chips there, and then let's get started. Okay, it's a piddle that Crystal didn't make it down yet. Her character is an integral part of the story. We've been playing this campaign for a few months now, and I feel we're really near the end. So just to kind of remind you guys, you are inside the woods near Myth Dranor. There's a clearing ahead, and there's like there's something that's quite chilling. Even in the full light of day, you can see that there's a large graveyard, and it's part of the huge cemetery that was once part of Myth Drannor. And Myth Drannor itself is just kind of ruins. It seems quite apt to kind of be looking at the cemetery, because Myth Drannor is in fact dead itself. And the thing that really freaks you guys out is at the entrance of the cemetery, he's standing a tall, thin figure wrapped in a grey cloak, and his face is hidden in the depths of his hood, and he carries in one bony hand
Jesus.
a huge scythe.
Whoa, something just... Did one of you just grab my leg? Is there
No.
something?
I might have kicked you by accident. I don't know.
No, that wasn't kicks. There's something under the table. Is there rats in here? The hell?
What do you... I don't know if this place is... that hygienic. Maybe there's a rat or something.
Well, if we're counting on checks to clean it, I can guarantee it's not.
I've always wanted a pet
Yeah,
rat.
and I kind of throw a chip at him.
So just kind of glance down, checks. You don't see anything under the table. But as you look back up, you see this chip come across the table as Russell tosses it over. If you go to pick it up, this time something brushes slightly against your leg again, but it begins to kind of trail up the side of your calf where your knee is. And it feels like it's underneath your pant leg, not trailing over the top of it. But it doesn't feel furry. It feels soft, sort of silky, but it has a sharpness to it, like fingernails.
I mean, I immediately grab the cuff of my jeans and start to pull them up to take a look.
When you grab a hold of your pant leg, why don't you give me a drop first?
Okay. 18.
When you grab down on your pant leg, you can definitely feel like there's an arm up under your pant leg, kind of going up your calf to where your knee is. You can feel it, the nails of it, just on the inside of your thigh a little bit. But as you pull your chair out and move out a little bit, it's just completely gone. For that brief second, you could have swore you felt a hand. You could see the imprint in your pants. You could feel the nails on your thigh.
Oh, that was weird.
What the fuck are you talking about, man? You like you've
kind
called
of
what and you jumped.
It kind of felt like someone was I don't know, like crawling up my leg, like any finger motions. Yeah.
He's such a spaz, man. And I kind of lift up the table and look under.
Yeah, you wish you had someone crawling up your leg.
Russell, give me a drop, please.
I get an 11, sir.
All right. When you move out and lift up the table, maybe the cloth or something, and look under there. Again, you don't see anything immediately. There's nobody. You don't see any rats or anything like that. It's dusty and stuff. But you do notice almost in the very center of the table, this little drip, and it kind of splatters across right in the very center. This dark, brownish red sort of color. And then another drip. And it looks like it's dripping from underneath the table, dripping down onto the floor. It only has a few drips there. When you look at the table itself or underneath, or get a closer look, you don't see it dripping from anywhere. Just the spatteries across the floor every now and then.
That's weird. Did one of you guys drop any of the any Coke? And I kind of look up on the table to see if there's any Coke that's been spilt on the top, not realizing that even if it had been, it's very weird for it to be falling through the table.
Yeah, I haven't spilt anything.
It's freaking weird. There's something underneath here, and check. There's something dripping underneath the table. Check at this. I kind of crawl under the table to examine it further.
Yeah, as you get down, if anybody else moves back too, you can see the same thing. You don't see where it's dripping from under the table necessarily. It just seems to almost kind of appear out of nowhere as it comes down, but it drips across the floor every few seconds, so it's getting to be a little bit bigger of a puddle. When you feel it and look at your hands, it's clearly a blood-like substance, and it smears between your hands, but it feels very oily, very gritty-like.
Like hydraulic
It's
fluid.
very weird.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is Chex down as well?
I'm standing, still staring at my leg, kind of rubbing it. I've even like undid my fly, put my hand down at the inside just to see.
So I've got a very wicked kind of sense of humor. So while I'm under the table, I like go and grab at his leg.
I mean that's kind of like hitting the knee with the hammer. I think there's an immediate reaction where I kick out at you.
Russell, give me a drop.
Oh, you bastard!
Do I get a bonus here?
No, just a regular, just a D20.
I get a 1.
Yeah, Chex, go ahead and describe what you do to poor Russell, and just add another D20 to your drop pool. So you'll be doing two now.
It's just an immediate reaction, and unfortunate for Russell that steel toe Doc Marten boots. It's just a flinch, automatic kick, probably aiming for the face, without realizing it, of course. Vicious, but not malicious.
So yeah, as you reach out, you just get a boot right square to the nose, Russell. You can hear that crack a little bit. This blood kind of drips down your lip from your nose as well, adding to this pool that's already started to form underneath the table.
Oh shit! What'd you do, Chex? I'll fish out a handkerchief and I'll hand it down to Russell. Here, stick this up under your nose and press really hard.
Fuck, dude. Ow, jeez. And kind of like I'm looking at my head and there's just blood coming out of my nose onto my head. I go, can't you take a joke, Chex? Oh my God. Oh. And kind of like I'll come up from beneath the table and start using the tablecloth to actually kind of trying to stifle the bleeding.
I didn't mean it. I'm not the one trying to goose people under the table.
I'll go, oh, jeez. And like I'm kind of just looking up at the ceiling now, kind of trying to keep my head back.
Perfect. So as you look up, you can see the roof or the ceiling, whatever it is, spray painted as well, tons of graffiti, and has a big naked picture of a lady in one corner. And this word kind of spells out what looks to be some sort of graffiti, but it has like the 80s bright colors and the weird writing that they did. And it says Shuka across the side of the corner. You can see a couple other bands up in the corners. And as you hold your nose and you're looking around, over, I guess it would kind of like be to your northeast when you're looking up in the top right corner of it. But you see a small girl crouched in the corner of the ceiling. Looks like she's maybe 7 or 8 years old. Has this really nice flowery dress on, but her head's down as you see this long hanging black hair. The others don't seem to notice anything as you're holding your nose and trying to stop the blood.
Is she, when you say I see a girl, like part of the graffiti, like painted onto the ceiling?
What girl?
Is there, what I see now? Morgan, is there anything there?
No.
Fuck. Like, I turn around and I go, dudes, did you just see that? And then I look at Chex and my anger's kind of calming down and I go, geez, I think you hit me so hard I'm starting to see things, Chex.
I know what will sell it. Here, reach into my vest pocket, fish about, bring out a cigarette pack, reach into it, and I'll hand you a half-smoked joint.
Oh, you legend. And kind of just stick that straight into my mouth and start trying to light it.
Now, just remember, you still owe me $10 for the last one.
Look at my nose. I think we're even. Okay.
No, that one's free. They still owe me $10.
I just give him like a playful kind of punch on the shoulder. Go, no worries, I still remember.
So, Mike, as all this is going on, you see him get kicked in the face. You see that bit of panic as he's holding his nose and looking up at the ceiling. His eyes kind of focus on something for a moment. And before he asks checks, or you guys, if you saw anything. But as you look around the room, out into the hallway, there's this flash of darkness that moves across the doorway. It's very brief. You're not quite sure if it was maybe just a shadow of maybe Russell even moving, but you've seen that flash go across the door. And before you're able to really even say anything or comprehend what you just saw, all of you can hear this high-pitched scream echo down the hallway. It would come down, not from where you came in downstairs, but further down the hallway. Sounds like a girl, like a young adult lady or something, just screams for a few seconds, and then it's cut short in just silence.
I kind of fall backwards in my chair. What the fuck? Did you just hear that?
Like, I'm kind of like a little paler in color. I didn't kind of react very well to that. I go like, oh my God. And then I look around. Is there anything on the floor, like a sort of a piece of wood that I can use as a sort of potential club?
There's a table with wooden legs. Or chairs. I mean, you could smash.
I'll just take a chair itself. I'm hoping it's a rickety type of chair that's light enough to carry as a weapon.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I could have swore I saw somebody go by the door just before I heard the scream.
It's got to be someone messing with us.
Yeah. I'll go up and look out the doorway.
Okay, it's probably Crystal. That's why she's not here.
Mike, give me a drop as you move up to the door and take a look out.
19.
Step up to the doorway and glance in both directions. Off to the left, you can see where you came down. Here, the stairway leading down. And that just kind of disappears in darkness up the steps. When you look the other way, you don't see anything. It's just a clear, empty hallway. It has that real yellow, paler sort of light, sort of like this room has. And you can see down to where it tees off at the end, maybe 20 feet or so. But otherwise, you don't see nothing. You don't hear anything. It's just dead silence.
I'll call out, Crystal, is that you? And I'll start heading down from where I heard the scream.
And I'm right behind Mark, rickety chair in hand, but totally using him as a shield.
Nice. So yeah, you step out then and start to follow Mike down. Checks. What do you do?
I mean, I'm insane, but I'm not stupid. I'll give it a couple of minutes before I stick my head out. I'll wait for them to get further down the hallway.
All right. In that case, Russell, Mike, as you guys move down the hallway, there's one more door on your left that you passed that's closed. If you give it a glance or anything, you can see that it's definitely locked. It doesn't seem to move or budge. The handle doesn't. When you get down to that T and you look in both the ways, off to the left, you see just more. It looks like dormitory hallway, basically, just doors on either side. Total of 5 doors, and then it leads to a stairwell that leads up again. When you turn to the right and take a look down, you have a couple doorways. The very end of that hallway has a door on it that says the boiler room, kind of written in the plaque on the doorway, and faculty only. And then you can see a janitorial closet next to that as well. Russell, as you step back and Mike's taking a look around, you can see this brief movement in the corner of your eye. And as you kind of look over to the side, it looks almost like a handprint on the wall right beside you, but you can see that it's dragged, almost like smearing blood across the wall would be, just down the side of this wall, just this black soot-like stuff. You can see it like appear as you watch it get smeared across.
Yeah, that I got. Jesus Christ, Mark, look at this! Ah, and like I kind of throw the chair at it.
What?
You see this chair bounce off the wall. One of the legs breaks a little bit and splinters. You look over, Mike, and you have no clue what the hell he's talking. Brick wall, as far as you can tell.
Dude, I'm telling you, there's like some massive fumes down here or something. Because if you're seeing shit and I'm seeing shit, and
I don't know. It could also be this joint that Chicks gave me. But I'm telling you, man, that was one of the scariest things I have ever seen. It was like a hand dragging blood across the wall. And I kind of, no, right over there, man. I'm telling you. And I kind of look in the direction. Is it still there?
Russell, there's nothing there.
You see it, Russell, yes. Mike, you do not.
Yeah, it's just a brick wall.
You can see some of the blood sort of start to dribble down from where it's been smeared across, making the little rivulets rolling down the wall.
I don't know, dude. It's fucking right there. It's either that or I'm tripping like a motherfucker. But there's something on the fucking wall, and it's blood.
Yeah, it's probably whatever Chex put in that joint. Probably got some PCP mixed in there or something.
Kind of move closer to it to kind of look closer at the wall, kind of touching it to see if it's actually real.
All right. Give me a drop. So now you should have 2 d20s in your pool for that one, basically. So you'll roll both of them at the same time. Yep.
Got it. 8 and 20.
Nice. You go up to it. You can feel it. It feels sticky. It kind of smears off on your hands. You can still see it on your hands. As far as you can tell, it looks real. It looks like somebody had just had a bloody hand and went down the wall recently, because it's definitely fresh. To you, Russell, it just looks like he's feeling the wall and looking at his hands and apparently tripping balls.
I go like, dude, there is blood all over my hands.
You just got a bloody nose. Of course, there's blood all over.
That's not what I'm talking about, Mark. It's freaking blood on this wall, and it's all over my hands now. I'm telling you, I've got a bad feeling about this. I shout out, Checks! Checks!
And I'll turn and shout the other direction, Crystal!
So down back in your room, Checks, you're waiting in silence. You can see this bulb flicker above you. And just as you hear Russell yell out your name, this bulb blows, just sparks everywhere, and you're just left in... The hallway itself has some lights in it, but the room you're in just goes completely dark. As you hesitate there for a moment, you can hear Russell yell your name again, but you feel a small hand slip into your hand, like holding your finger.
I run in the direction where I think the door is. Sprint, I should say. I mean, can I find the door in the darkness?
What's that? You cut out right at the end.
Sorry, I sprint towards where I think the door is in the darkness.
Oh.
Just checking shit out of there.
Yep, yeah, you can totally get back out into the hallway. And as you step into the hallway, that light above you blows. And then the next one blows. And the next one blows. And it's just like this shatter of sparks all the way down the hallway where all of you are. Russell and Mike, you can see the same thing too as these bulbs blow around you. It only takes a few seconds. You can still see the humming of this electricity, a few sparks drift into the ground, but you're left in darkness. You can see just a few feet in front of you. Chex, you're like 20 feet away from where the others are. You can see them when you step into the hallway and where they are up ahead of you, but you're just now in darkness. And again, you feel a little tug on your pant leg, and this cold, small hand tried to hold onto your finger.
Yeah, so the others would see me, I guess, kind of silhouetted as I start to kind of flail the arms about, trying to get... What the hell? And then continue running towards Mike and Russell.
Yeah, you guys will see Russ then, or I'm sorry, you'll see Chex run forward and skid to a stop where you guys are at, just left in darkness. You can only see maybe like 10 feet around you before it's just dark.
God, that was a hell of a power surge. And I reach into my pocket and I pull out my Zippo and fire it up.
Hit that thing as you kind of spin around. You can see Check standing there. Right beside him is a small girl. this nice, pretty, flowery dress, this long, greasy black hair hanging down. She has her head forward, so it all just kind of hangs down around her. She kind of reaches up and is holding on to his hand, or trying to, as he flails about.
Chex, where'd you find her?
I'm just looking at you pale at the moment. It doesn't want to look.
Dude, you got quit smoking that shit. I'm telling you.
Can I see it, Morgan?
See what?
I just see Chex, right?
Yep, you can see him standing there, kind of pale and trying not to be touched or something, doing some sort of weird 80s dance, I'm guessing.
It's probably frozen in that tableau.
I go, dude, check out the blood on my hands. And I kind of stick them right in his face.
I'll drop to my knee to get on the girl's level and say, hey, little girl, were you the one who was just screaming?
What little girl?
Let me see that joint.
I look down, I go, guys, and then like I'll babble off a little bit in Afrikaans. I go, yeah, man, the source is like a kak in the millies, huh? And then I turn, I say, Oaks, we got to get out of here.
Ah, crap, he's speaking in tongues now.
Yeah, I know, Russell. I thought this was a pretty cool idea at first, but I don't know.
Ons moet gaan. So I'm saying in Afrikaans, come, we must go.
Is this part of the game? Is this like that special thing that you were going to do, Russell?
Oh my God. I got a really bad feeling. I'm a little bit freaked out right now. I think let's just head back to our dorms, guys. We'll come back tomorrow when it's daylight. We'll pick up the dungeon stuff. I just not in the mood. We can finish the game next week.
I'll tell you what, you can keep that $10. You can buy yourself a new DM screen. I ain't coming back here.
Oh, don't be silly. I'll just go pick up the shit and I'll meet you outside. I mean, it's just, we had a power surge. It's probably fumes. We'll be all fine.
I'll go, let's go. Come, Mark, it's not a good idea. Come, let's get out of here.
No, it's going to take, 10 seconds for me to grab the shit. I'll be right there. I mean, those screens are expensive, man. I don't want you to...
Mark, we'll come back tomorrow. Come, let's go out. Boy, we'll have some drinks outside. Come. It's just... my heart. Jeez, my heart's friggin' beating like 100 beats a minute.
Okay, well, I gotta get my backpack anyway, man. So...
Yeah, grab mine as well.
Grab everybody's shit. Okay, I can do that. And I'll go back into the game room.
Yeah, so as you two wait for Mike to come back, you can see the light of his Zippo as he kind of disappears down. You can still see his silhouette, and then he disappears around the corner as he goes into this room. As you step in here, like, you can feel this room is cold, much, much colder than the hallway itself was. It was, your 65, 70 sort of temperature Fahrenheit. But you step in, the temperature just plummets right down. You feel these goosebumps go across your body, and the sweat kind of chills your skin a little bit more. All of, Chex' backpack is there, yours, the DM screen, everything's set up on the table as needed. Right underneath where this table is, though, you can still see that pool of blood. Not sure if it's Russell's from his nose or what he was looking at to begin with, but it's still there. Every now and then you can see a splatter of water or blood or something anyway drip down and spatter across the floor. Right on the center of the table, you'll notice the jar that it looked like Russell was going to do something with or show you guys something, but it's covered with a black cloth.
Hey, Russell, you want this this black cloth thing too? Since I'm here? And is this your table?
Do I hear that, Morgan?
Yeah, you would hear it.
Yeah. I say, dude, just get the DM stuff that jar with all things that's happened tonight. Just don't even look at it, dude. Some delinquent med student sold me something in there. I was gonna save it for a surprise later on, dude. Just grab the stuff, get out of there. Don't worry about what's in the jar.
Okay, that's no problem. It's colder than shit down here. Do they have like air conditioning vents that go into here? Because I think that would have taken care of these fumes.
I'll just like scream out, "Come on, Mark! Just get out of here, please! I'm like really scared, like shit scared, man. Let's just and don't tell the girls about this, but let's just get out of here and go have a drink."
I'll lean back out the window and just push my ball cap back a bit. I said, "Dude, you're just tripping. That's all it is. You're just a bad trip right now. I'll be up in just a second. If you need to get out of here, just get out of here."
So as you step back in, like, and start getting, you throw Chex's bag over your shoulder, start gathering the stuff up. As you reach forward and grab the polyhedral dice off the table, you feel this heavy grasp. All of a sudden, just something grabs a hold of your wrist. And when you look down, you can see that it's this really pale bluish colored hand, these long black nails for the fingertips, and it grabs right a hold of your wrist. It seems to materialize out of the table or out of the cloth or something right there, almost like it's coming out of it. And it holds your thing, and then it just gives you a yank. Give me a drop, please.
11.
Nice. And when it does, caught off guard a little bit, pretty big guy, but this thing seems to be pretty strong for what it looks like, this kind of frail, gross-looking hand. But you just feel your whole body lurch forward and your face smash into this table. One of the legs gives out and it starts to collapse down. Chex, Russell, you guys out there just hear this commotion go off in this room, this smashing of, we assume, is the table or chairs or something, and a grunt from Mike.
You should probably go and check on that.
Fuck you. You coming with me?
Shit, I think these fumes are getting to me. It felt like something grabbed me. I think I just passed out, though.
Did you get the stuff?
Mark! I turned to Chex. I was like, we better go check on him. Mark! Just kind of shut. I'm not going alone, Chex. You're coming with me.
Fine. Let me just... Ah, crap. I left the keys in there. Fine. Right, let's go.
Did you lock when you came in?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Mark, are you all right? Mark! I was like shouting and like kind of gripping Chex with my right arm and kind of shuffling forward a little bit back towards the basement area.
As you feel, Russell grab a hold of you, Chex start going, you can feel a cold little hand grab a hold of your other arm running behind you. If you look back, you can see this little girl running behind you, trying to hold your hand as well, following you.
Again, that reflex kicks in, and he attempts the Miami Ninja spin kick.
Nice. Russell, give me a drop, please.
Just 2d20, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Russell.
4 and a 3.
All right. So yeah, you can grab a hold of Chex and start pulling him down to go help Mike, and he just goes into full-on Miami Vice mode, and you can feel that he kind of kicks the back of your thigh and flails about a little bit. It doesn't hurt you or anything, but he completely looks like he's freaking out at the moment.
Okay, just to sort of get the scene right. It's also very dark because all the electricity's, the globe's blue as Mark ran towards us.
Right.
So he's kind of freaking out. I'm scared as shit. Mark's just collapsed and there's darkness all around.
Correct. So yeah, you would get to the door and basically just see Mike on the ground, this table smashed underneath him as he's kind of sitting back up, maybe a little bit dazed, but seems okay for the most part.
Okay. So like when Chex kind of starts like spazzing out, so to speak, I kind of pull my hand away because it like freaks me out as well. And I like, if I'm right by the door downwards, I'll kind of run quickly downwards towards the basement again.
What do you do, Mike? You would have seen them as they kind of came around the corner to look at you.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you do?
I sit up and I stick a cigarette in my mouth and I fire it up. I go, dude, this is fucked, you know? And I start collecting the stuff and
I just say to
up.
Mark, just forget about the stuff, but Check's left the keys here. Let's just get out of here. Seriously, man. This is getting fucking fucked up, man. Let's just get out of here.
Well, Checks, where are your keys, man? I mean, it's in your backpack?
They were on the table, and he's still. I'm still kicking out into space, looking behind me. They're on the table somewhere.
I'd look around on the table with the Zippo. Anything besides the...
So, again, as you kind of let the Zippo and look around on this table, part of it's kind of hanging over as it's kind of a little bit crooked since you smashed into it and stuff. As you look down, it's almost the same exact thing happens. You can see this bluish sort of hand reach up, grabs a hold of your arms that's there. Give me another drop, please.
7.
And again, it just kind of yanks you forward. You feel this time is you literally just pulled right on top of this whole table. The whole thing starts to just collapse underneath. You see a leg go flying in one direction, books scatter across the floor. For that brief second, you see the keys that Check's had as you reach out for them. As the table collapses, they skitter across the ground and then come to a stop right next to the drain and down into this drain.
Shit. These fumes are bad, man.
You can feel, Mike, you can feel this other hand kind of grab a hold of your shin. One starts to wrap around your stomach. It feels like it's underneath your clothes. And then as he goes to speak, all of you just hear muffles. You can feel this hand go across the front of your face, Mike. Fingers start to kind of scrape at the inside of your mouth, forcing your mouth open. You guys don't see anything when you're looking at Mike, but you can see that he's as if he's struggling against something. You can see his mouth opening up, these choking sort of sounds.
Yeah, I'll start flipping out.
Yeah, so I guess hearing the commotion and hearing the coming from his direction, I look around. Like, shit, man. What? You okay?
Yeah, it kind of just looks like he's almost having spasms on the ground. And then you hear this scrape sort of sound as you go over by him, Checks. And you can see the front of his flannel shirt just rips right apart. And you can see this huge gash going across his chest. Another one on one of his thighs. Mike, as you're laying there, you can just feel these nails scraping into your skin, just tearing at you.
I scream if I can.
Give me one more drop, please.
8.
You let out this sort of guttural scream, and then you feel nothing. The marks are still there on your skin, but you don't feel anything trying to scrape at you, nothing trying to get into your mouth. Just, you're laying on the floor.
I try to get up, and then I'll go and start kicking Checks' backpack at him, and I'll walk over towards the drain and see if my hand fits in there, if the keys are readily there.
You can reach down a little way without getting your hand stuck, but you can't feel them from where you're at. Probably need a smaller hand or arm or something to get down in there deeper.
Yeah, your keys went down your Checks. Let's get the fuck out of here, man.
I mean...
Yeah, man. Let's get out of here, Checks. Come.
Yeah, just tell him you lost your keys. We can get it later.
Yeah, I'm not... Losing the keys doesn't bother me when it comes to getting reprimanded, but the door's kind of locked.
Can we break it? I mean, is it reinforced?
They're big, heavy doors, like the fire doors and stuff the colleges have, and they're heavy. If you had something applicable enough, maybe, but they're heavy.
Can I see the keys when I look down the drain?
With a little bit of light that you have with the Zippo lighter, not really, no. Looks like it's down a bit further than what the light gives off. Because you're basically working with just a little Zippo at the moment.
Okay. I think what we can do is there's a broken chair upstairs. We can use maybe one of the legs or something. Maybe find like a smaller type of rod to kind of fish in there, and then maybe we can like break a piece of paper off, light it, and drop it down the drain. See if we can catch sight of the keys.
Everybody add one more D20 to your drop pool, as that'll put us into the second act.
I'd say, all right. I'm not so keen to go back and get the chair pieces by myself, but is there another one of those rickety chairs around in the room?
Yeah.
I got lighter fluid in my backpack. We can just
Yeah.
soak some of the paper in lighter
Perfect.
fluid and drop it down there.
Perfect. So what I'll do is I'll start breaking the chair so I can get like a little bit of wood that we can use it to kind of fish the keys out. And then just go, Mark, that sounds awesome, dude. Let's see if we can find those keys.
Yeah, and I'll soak some paper in the lighter fluid.
And we just kind of light it and drop it down the drain, see if we can catch sight of the keys.
It drops down. It looks like it goes about 3 feet or so down to the bottom. You can see the keys glimmering there. I guess it would be Russell and Mike as you're looking down. Are you over there looking down 2 checks, or are you back up?
I'd imagine there's probably not enough space for everybody's head to get in, but yeah, I'll probably be standing just behind them.
Okay. So as the two of you, drop this paper down, like I say, it goes down about 3 feet and it lands on top. You can see where these keys are in the metal glinting with the fire that's down there with this little piece of paper. It only takes a few seconds for it first to go out. But as you look, all of a sudden you can just see this young girl's face staring back up at you. It's completely bloodied. She's missing one eye. Looks sort of desiccated, famished, not in the best of health as she stares up at you, the bottom of this drain, and then the fire just goes out.
Shit. Did you see that?
Kind of, oh my God. Yeah, like I freak out and pull away violently, like kind of away from the drain. I go, oh, fuck, and kind of like pull away.
Checks, man. We're not getting those keys, man. That's another day. Another day.
Shit.
Are there windows around the basement area?
Nope, you'd be actually down like the basement. So yeah, it's below ground.
And on ground level, are there any windows there when we're coming in?
Oh, you could get up to the stairwell, but you wouldn't be able to get up to the ground level because that's where the door is.
Oh.
So,
all right.
Can't we just kick the shit out of the door? I mean, at a certain point, it's got to give.
Someone might hear us and come to open the door for us, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's do it.
I hand people shit to them.
I check to make sure everything's okay. Make sure my Walkman hasn't been smashed.
no, but whatever striper tape you had in there at the moment looks to be missing.
Wasn't Striper. Haha, very funny. It was Phil Collins, actually. My secret shame.
In the Air Tonight starts playing in the background as all of you step out into the hallway. You still have your little lighter, Mike, that you're holding up for light?
Yep.
All right. So I figure you're probably kind of in the lead then, trying to light the way. So as you step out, the first thing you can feel as soon as you step into the hallway, out of this room and into the hallway, it does feel a little bit warmer all of a sudden, but your foot slips. Give me a drop, please. And it's going to be 2d20, and Russell, you would have 3 now. the second act.
That's a 19 and a 3.
Right. So yeah, you can feel your foot slip or something, and both of you, Jack Russell, as you look forward, you just see him slip and wham onto the ground. As you try to sit up, Mike, you can just feel the whole ground is covered in something slippery. As you pull your hands up, you can just see you're covered in blood. As you do your lighter and look around the whole floor, this hallway, just blood everywhere. And as you look over to your right, just outside the door and to the right, where you're almost beside you, you can see a goat laying there. The whole thing has been completely gutted, but it still bleats as it stares back at you with these pale, dying sort of eyes, its intestines spilled across the ground. And then you can see what looks to be a hand reach out from inside of this thing. It grabs a hold of your ankle, Mike, and starts to kind of pull you in. It says you slide across the ground.
Yeah, I'll start kicking at it.
All of you would see this.
I would grab Mike sort of around his upper body and kind of start pulling backwards against whatever's trying to pull him forward.
So you see Russell grab a hold of your arms or shoulders, whatever, and start trying to pull you back. Checks, what do you do?
My Walkman in hand, I launch it at whatever's grabbing Mike. I just throw it in that direction.
As you look over at Checks Mike, you see him have his Walkman, this wild-eyed sort of look as he hurls this thing. Give me a drop, Mike.
That is a 1 and a 17.
Go ahead and add another D20 to your drop pool. And as you look up, you feel this sort of lightness. You can feel as Russell starts trying to pull you away. Whatever is holding your hand, as you look down, you don't see the goat. You don't see blood. You don't see a hand. Nothing. But what you do see is a Walkman just smash right against the side of your face. Bit of a tape goes flying. The door of this Walkman, the clap kind of hangs off as it hits the ground, as you're left with just a smashed sort of face from a hurled large Walkman.
You're worse than the goat, man.
Is my Walkman okay?
I'll turn around. Is the goat still there, and the blood and everything is still there?
Nope.
No.
I didn't know there was a goat or blood.
I'll pick up your shattered Walkman and hand it to you. So, well,
man.
Thanks for that. I'll rub my cheek.
I think we've got to use that lighter fluid of yours as kind of like a flamethrower. Kind of use it, squeeze it on somebody, and kind of light the next fucking thing that freaks us out.
What are you? The fumes are getting to you. We're not using no flamethrower down here.
I'm just saying, the next time something tries to grab you from in the darkness, man, just try to burn it.
I'm scared just having this thing on. I think there's like gas fumes or something. I'm afraid all of a sudden this place will just go up in a big ball of flame.
And I think I would at this stage start crying a little bit, mainly from the dope, kind of like accentuating the emotion of fear. You know, so I just like I'll break down like I'm so scared.
Sense of paranoia washes over you. So yeah, your Walkman don't look the best anymore. Checks, the door's hanging off. Your Phil Collins tape is broken. You can see one of the wheels has fallen out. Doesn't look like that's going to be working anytime soon. What you do have at least is this soft sort of singing voice coming down the hallway back towards where the room or the hallway tees off again. Very young sounding, and it's just a basic like ring around the rosies, pocket full of posies, nursery rhyme. And you can see it sounds like a young girl singing, and it echoes down through this hallway. You can hear small bells chiming, almost like a music box.
Guys, can you hear that? Is it just me?
What, Russell crying? That's what I'm hearing.
Russell, quiet, quiet.
I kind of like
Put yourself together, man.
okay, you're definitely not telling any of the girls about this.
Just as you say that, Russell, you can feel this brush across the back of your neck, almost sort of in that sensual sort of way, like a girl would rub her hand across your hair and down your back, the nails brushing against your skin. And you can hear this soft voice right in the corner of your ears. Oh, the girls know. As you hold your little lighter up, Mike, and as he says this, and you kind of flash around to look at it, you just see this old-looking face, really weathered. No teeth in this thing, blackened sort of gums. Their eyes are just pitch black as well, but you can see the tiny little white of the pupil, and blood just pours down from her eyes, from her nose. This long, black, greasy hair of this old-looking hag, her face right behind Russell's shoulder, whispering into his ear.
Yeah, I recoil and stammer a bit and go, we need to go. We need to go now. And I just turn and head right down the hallway.
Are you going up towards the door to get out, or down towards the hallway and where it tees off to go to the boiler room and the stuff?
To get out.
That's what it's do. So yeah, you see him take off with your one little bit of light source up the stairwell.
I kind of throw a sideways headbutt, and then want to follow the light source with the guys as they're running towards the exit.
And checks.
I throw my Walkman at
it. So as you go to take off, Russell, you can see checks hurl back. You had that feeling, you know what's coming, so you're able to miss the flinging of his Walkman as it skips past your head and smashes onto the wall behind you. There's no saving it this time, Checks. It just shatters in bits of plastic Sony bits and Phil Collins tape.
It wasn't mine anyway.
Yeah, it just shatters against this wall. Mike, as you run up the steps, give me another drop, please. You should have, I think, 3 now since you had the 1.
Yeah, 18, 17, 9.
You get up about 2 or 3 steps, and then you feel a hand grab a hold of your ankle, and you just hit the steps. You don't get hurt or anything. You're able to catch yourself, but it definitely makes you suddenly trip going up the steps as you hit the steps going up. Right behind you, Russell, you see him hit the fall forward and catch himself. Checks as you're in the back recovering after throwing your thing, getting ready to turn. As soon as you turn, right in front of you is this young girl standing there. This nice white dress is getting really dirty and bloody looking, though. This long, greasy hair. And she reaches up with her hand, kind of reaching towards you.
Is she standing between myself and the others? Okay. With a wordless whimper, I turn the other way and run.
Turn, take 2 or 3 steps, and then directly, again, right in front of you, you see this old, naked hag, these really drooping, sagging breasts, weathered skin just hangs off of her, black gums. You can see blood pouring down her face. Her hands are human-like, but they have these really, really long, black, scraggly nails that start to curl and kind of combine in with one another. Same thing on her toes, but where her feet would be are more hooven-like, but these long, scraggly nails that come off of each hoof.
Yeah, so as I run into her, it's just like, oh, come on. Really?
You can see her hand reaches up and just kind of presses right against your face. What do you do?
Scooby-Doo moment. I'll back up and try and run back, I guess, towards the little girl.
All right. Give me a drop.
Okay. It's 15 to 4.
So you can feel this hand, and it just almost, kind of like a basketball palms your face, basically. You'd feel these long nails kind of around your face. And she just gives you a bit of a shove. You feel yourself flow backwards and then just hit the ground. Sliding, again, the whole floor just feels covered in blood. Once again, you can feel yourself sliding across this muck and this gore, and then kind of thud into something. As you turn, you can see that goat half gutted, its intestines spilling across. As you kind of turn to look at that, another hand reaches out from inside this thing, grabbing your mullet, the business side of your mullet, and just yanks you forward. Up on the steps, Mike, as you look up, you can see where that doorway is up ahead. And you can see your lighter kind of flying slowly almost through the air. And as soon as it hits that door, the whole thing just goes up in flames. Russell, you would see all of this happening in between you.
Shit, I knew it. We got all those fumes. We're just tripping, guys.
Am I seeing the hag as well and the goat, or just seeing checks?
Nope, you can see the hag. You can see the little girl as she's watching all this, the goat, the blood, the door that goes up in flames. You can see it all.
Oh my gosh. How far away are they from me?
You'd be like the base of the stairs, so the little girl would be like maybe 10 feet, and then checks and the goat, maybe like another 5 feet after that. The hag's probably about 20, 25 feet away from you down the hall. You can see she's slowly starting to move forward, but she brings her hand up and kind of motions you forward with these long, scraggly nails.
And where is Mike at this point?
He'll be right behind you, falling on the steps, about halfway up the steps to the door. It's like maybe 10 steps.
I just go, Mike, give me that lighter fluid now. Forget about the fumes. Just give it to me, Mike.
And I'll hand it to him.
And your zipper.
In my Zippo? Well, it's up there.
Oh.
So I scrabble up to the top of the stairs and go to grab the Zippo.
Yeah, you can scroll up there and go to grab for it. Just give me a drop to not get burned.
1182.
Right. Yeah, he singe your hairs a little bit, and maybe your eyebrows are burning off, but you're able to grab a hold of your Zippo. But the flame, you can definitely see. These feel like real flames. You can feel the heat coming off them. You can see this door being charred.
Yeah.
But it's starting to roll across the rooftop area. That's starting to fill up with smoke a little.
I'll say, Russell, can you grab it? And I just kind of toss it at him.
Can I grab it?
Sure.
I mean,
Yep,
yeah.
you can grab
Okay. Where's Chex? He's at the base of the fire.
Chex is in between the little girl and the hag with the goat right in between. So you got the girl in between you and Chex, the little girl.
I'll kind of run and kind of like barge into the little girl, kind of like a rugby kind of palm off. You're running and I want to run past, pick Chex up and kind of spray lighter fluid on the hag. Just, this is just out of sheer panic, as opposed to being heroic or anything like that. I just want to get the fuck out of here.
Nice. Go ahead and give me a drop.
Two 11s and a 5.
Right. So yeah, you're able to skip forward. As you would have bumped into this girl, you seem to pass right through her, almost apparition-like, but she does turn, I guess, she seems to acknowledge that you were there. As she watches you go by, but you can't see her face. It's just this long, greasy hair. You're able to go ahead and grab Chex, this spray of lighter fluid covering over top of this old hag lady who walked forward. Yeah, what do you want to do? You can grab a hold of Chex and start pulling on him and cover this hag in lighter fluid.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing. And then, like in a kind of a cheesy kind of movie, go, it's time for you to burn in hell, and like kind of light the hag.
Nice. Toss this Zippo towards her. And you see it just hit the ground, and then these flames erupt across the ground, part of the wall, following these streams of the Zippo lighter.
Oh, so now there's a fire kind of in front of us, between us and the exit?
The door's on fire. Yeah, you got a little bit of a fire between you. You don't see no hag. She doesn't. You don't see a child. You don't see a goat. You don't see blood. But you see fire covering the walls and the floor on both sides of you.
It's like a kind of his check's now on his feet.
Oh, you're probably dragging him, but yeah.
Yeah. And where is Mike at this?
He'd be halfway up the stairway still. Well, sorry, I don't know if you guys see he's starting to come back down because he tossed you the Zippo, but...
Now I'm going to take off my shirt and try beating out the flames on the door.
All right. Yeah, give me one more drop then.
1926.
Yeah, so yeah, you can start beating out these flames. Looks like it's spreading a bit too fast to really get out without an extinguisher or something. I mean, you're able to pat some of them out, but it just keeps spreading around you, especially on all this old dead wood that's down here, and him, Russell behind you, throwing lighter fluid everywhere.
I start kicking the shit out of that door then. I'll kick right at the handles, see if we can get it to buckle at all.
What door?
The door leading out of here. That door.
There ain't no door. You can feel a nice solid stone wall at the end of this stairwell, as if it's been, sealed off for centuries kind of thing. It's just a wall, or a heavy stone wall.
Is it still burning?
No.
I lean my hands up against the wall and my forehead against the wall, and I go, I'm just tripping. I'm just tripping. It's just a bad trip. That's all it is.
It's nice and cold, cool to the touch. Probably feels good on your forehead for the moment, like a nice, cool stone wall.
Chex, where's the door?
What do you mean? Where's you're standing? Okay, that's not supposed to be there. I assume the door's missing from you as well.
Yep, yeah, all of you just see it. It's just a stairwell that leads up to us. Looks like it was, sealed off with stone at one point.
Oh my god, what the fuck? And I kind of push it to see if it's real.
Shit. Well, there's got to be, there's got to be a fire escape out the boiler room, right? There's still a boiler room down here. Don't they have fire escapes out of there in case the boiler goes? I mean, that has to be another exit out of here.
There's got to be something.
Let's go check.
You got my lighter?
I think I threw it at the hag.
You would see it on the floor, probably, like 5-6 feet away.
Okay.
Yeah. Is there still fire from where I?
Nope, nothing.
Everything's just calmed down.
Yep, cold stone walls, no blood on the floors, no goat, no hag, no girl, no flames. Your room's still destroyed with a collapsed table and stuff like that, but yeah, none of the weird stuff.
I flick my Zippo. Is that working? Or did
you can see it's pretty damn low on fluid, but yeah, it's working for the moment.
I'll reach into my pocket and pull out one of my butane Bics and flick that. Never leave home without at least 3 lighters.
Is it lights up? Chex Russell, you can see him, light this up, and this orangish sort of glow surrounds him. Behind him on the wall, you can see all these weird, best described as what I guess you would call ruins or markings or some sort of weird language or something just scattered across the wall. Looks like it's all been written in blood, and it still looks fresh. It still dribbles here and there. You can see splatters of blood across some areas, pentagrams, crucifix, all sorts of demony things.
Can I make out any of the writing at all, or is it completely foreign?
Would you have a way to know some of it?
Let's assume that I did Latin at school.
All right. It looks to be more paganistic sort of symbols. I guess you've probably seen maybe some different books on that and some old Latin stuff, and maybe some of the old King Arthur things, but you can definitely recognize some of these pagan markings that are on the walls. Not exactly sure what they say or what it is, but you recognize them from that sort of concept. Witchcraft and paganistic and demonology, that kind of stuff.
And it's written, how far is it away from us?
Hallway is about 10 feet wide, so, I mean, you guys are probably standing in the hallway, so it's pretty much right there in front of you. But as you kind of look and he moves the lighter, it goes down the entire length of the hallway on both sides, ceiling, floors. It's just written all the way down through.
Holy shit.
Should we check out the boiler room?
Yeah, definitely. Let's find a way out of here.
I mean, there's got to be an exit out of there, right?
Yeah, let's do it.
Chex, do you know, is there an exit down there?
Not really. I mean, we didn't really go that far into this place.
Man, I thought you checked this out.
I reckon let's just go check it out, Mark. See if we can find a way out.
I mean, there's got to be a way out. You're right. I mean, there has to be. You don't build something with one way in, one way out.
Well, we got in here, right? I mean, it's logical. We just got to find where we came in.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're just tripping. That's all it is. It's just a bad trip. We'll get outside. We'll get some fresh air. Get our heads about us. And then we'll go get our shit.
I'll light a cigarette and I'll say, yeah, let's just go check out the boiler room. Let's just start there.
So you start to move down this hallway. Probably Mike first, since you have the light, and then right beside you, Russell, and checks you behind a little bit. You can feel this burning sensation on the palm of your left hand, Checks. As you look down, you can see one of these ruins. It sort of looks like a triangle within a triangle, just carved right into the flesh on the palm of your left hand, like as if from a razor blade or something. It stings, it still burns, it still bleeds, and it matches quite a few of the same symbol that you see here and there along the walls. And as you take a few steps, you can see Mike and Russell in front of you almost sort of fade away. And as you take another step, you look around and you can see that you're in the middle of a convenience store. You can see one row just lined with sodas and chips and snacks. The other side has pharmaceuticals and medicines and things like that. Up in the very front of the store, you see the cashier, younger girl, sitting behind the counter. She has a piece of gum. She's kind of wadding it on her finger and pulling it out. You immediately recognize her. Who is it?
Who is it? Oh, yeah.
It's Crystal.
There you go. Yeah, perfect.
All right. So you see Crystal standing behind the counter. She kind of snaps her gum and chews it a little bit, and she's staring at you very impatiently as if waiting for you to purchase something or do whatever the hell it is you're doing there.
Yeah.
Her fingers just kind of tap on the thing, and she stares at you.
He rubs eyes. Well, I rub at my face. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I was tripping. Oh. I look at my hand to see if the symbol's still there.
Yep, it's still definitely there in your hand. You can hear up there. You gonna buy anything, Chicks, or just wank your blood all night?
Check to see if I've got any money on me. I've got a couple of $2. I'll just grab the nearest thing. Packet of Cheetos, big family pack. And walk up and slap it on the counter, and then reach over and grab a bottle of water.
Quickly scans these through, put your money aside, slide your change across the table. Gives you this sort of smile. You can see these black eyes with this tiny white pupil. Just for the brief second until she blinks again, and then it just looks perfectly normal. Have a good night. See, she puts your stuff in a bag, hands it over, and turns to go back. Looks like she's been cleaning the back counter or something.
Hey, have you seen Mike or Russell?
She'll turn and... Nope, not since yesterday.
Where did you see them yesterday?
Philosophy class. You were there. Feeling all right?
Yeah. Just never mind. Yeah, I'll go walk out.
Step outside as if, you kind of headed out. Step through that doorway, and immediately you see Russell, like, right in front of you. As you guys turn to look, you notice he has a bottle of water in one hand and a bag of Cheetos in the other.
Are we sort of in the in a street?
Oh no, you're all back in the hallway.
Like, dude, where the fuck did you get that?
Yeah, no
I
kidding.
was just at this store.
What the fuck are
What?
you talking about?
I was just at this store.
Okay.
I mean, you can see these things, right? I mean, I'm not.
I'm not trusting you.
You can see the bottle of water you have, Chuck. It's in a bottle. It's a bottle of water, but the water just this thick red mucousy sort of liquid inside of it. This little bag of Cheetos, family size. The whole thing seems to wiggle inside as if something's crawling around or wiggling around in there.
I drop the water and just let the bottle kind of bounce. But I don't realize that I open the Cheetos and I put my hand in.
As you pull it out, it's just vermin, insects, centipedes, spiders, maggots, whatever. Just the pile in your hand, crawling across your hand, up your arm. You can feel the stinging and biting of these things almost immediately.
Yeah, so as I jet my hand out, I kind of throw them at the wall, throw the bag.
Dude, there has to be a way out. If you've got those Cheetos and the
Yeah.
blood bottle, and man, there has to be a way out. Where did you go?
Just didn't pull them out of thin air.
I could have sworn I was at the store. I was at Quick Stop.
Well, how did you get there?
Dude,
I
we're
just-
just tripping. It's just a bad trip. That's all it is. That's all it is. We just need to get outside, get some fresh air. We'll be better.
Is any of the like sort of vermin that checks through against the wall? Is that still there? I mean, are they crawling on the ground and all that kind of stuff?
What vermin?
I go, I don't know, Mike. I think that you're right. This stuff, I don't know. I'm thinking, I'm seeing things, and then they're not there. This has got to be a trip, man. It's got to be a trip.
I know. I tell you, there's fumes or something down here. I mean, it's got hydraulic oil all over the place. 1 minute, floors are slippery. I mean, I'm dizzy. Keep losing my balance. I feel like people are grabbing me.
Is there still symbols on the wall, Morgan?
Yes, all of that's still there. You can see all these symbols all the way down through. And I kind of view it as Mike and Russell, you guys are kind of facing Chex, who's facing you. So Chex, as you're looking at them, it would be going down the hallway to where it splits towards like the boiler room. But down at the very end of this hallway, behind them as they're looking at you, so only you can see it at the moment, we see a woman at the end of this hallway You may recognize it as one of your classmates, not Crystal, but maybe from one of your other classes or something. But she stands there. All she has on are these really thin, sheer sort of silken robes, but they're kind of like they used to do in the 80s when they ripped the jeans all the way down through and just shredded the jeans and stuff. It looks like that, but it's like a silken robe that she's wearing, but the whole thing is just tore up, covered in bits and blood. And in one hand, she holds what looks to be somebody's arm or part of an arm, just kind of hanging there. She has a long golden colored hair, but that's too is covered in a bit of gore and stuff. But she has like a silken sort of veil covering the lower half of her face. You can recognize who it is. You can see this veil, but it seems to be just like decorative, I guess. She just stands at the end of this hallway looking at all three of you. A few seconds sort of pass, and then she'll just turn and walk away.
So, yeah, we could be tripping. And I might not have seen what I think I just thought I saw.
We should not see.
Yeah, I'll kind of look behind me as well as I see like chicks looking there.
I don't want to look behind me.
You know that chick that sits behind me in philosophy class? The good-looking one?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's down the bottom of that hall somewhere.
What the fuck you talking about, man?
Yeah.
Yeah, she was wearing this silk robe thing.
Oh, dude, you've gone from tripping to fantasy.
You know, I've just had enough of this. This all happened when I got kicked in the schnoz, and I reckon I'm probably unconscious. Like,
No.
I'm telling you.
It's not fantasy, because in my fantasy, she's wearing nothing.
I just got.
Fair enough.
I've had enough of this. I'll turn around. It's Crystal, or it's one of the class clowns, and they're playing. And I got, all right, everyone, neat trick. You got us. It's enough. Let us out of here. It's enough.
He's finished saying that. You can hear this soft laughter coming from the room you guys are playing in. Sort of high pitched, definitely female. Seems sort of mocking sort of laughter, like a joking sort of laughter coming from there. It'd be just over to you guys. You can't see it from where you're at, but the door's right there by you.
I swear I've fucking had enough of this shit. Seriously. And then I'll look down in my hand, and I'll still be holding the stick, which I was going to initially use to fish out the keys. Mm-hmm. I'll go look at it, and I think I'm going to give somebody the friggin' whipping of their laugh, and like just march firmly towards where I hear the laughing coming from.
Right. And I think we only have like 1 minute left. So yeah, let's move into the third act. I will reset this, add one more 20 to your drop pool. And start. So as you walk into this room, you can hear this laughter. Move into this room. It has this really pale, yellowish, grimy sort of color to it. You can see this light bulb that's in the center of the room that had blown before. It still looks glowing, but it gives off this pale yellow, disgusting sort of light, almost putrescent sort of. But over in the corner where you drop these keys down the drain, you see this white, fleshy sort of hand come up out of the drain and slam down on the ground, and then another one start to kind of wiggle up. You can start to see this almost looks like a young child, but the whole thing is real fleshy and maggoty, like it's just covered in sores and slime as it starts to pull itself out of this drain. It's about the size of maybe like a toddler, so only about 2 feet in length or so as it pulls itself out. It has arms, has a face, and part of the shoulder, but the whole back end of it is just like a maggot. As it kind of makes a slurping sort of sound, and it laughs at you as it does so. This young child-like little face on it hands its hands down the ground, starts to pull itself across the whole body, wagging or wiggling and sort of ovulating as it pulls itself towards you.
So I originally came down thinking I was all brave, I'm gonna just friggin' give somebody the biggest crack. And then when I see this happening, all that bravery completely drains out of me, and I just turn and scream and run.
So yeah, you guys would see him running out of the room screaming then.
Okay, time to go. Time to go.
Yeah, I just run now. I'm like sheer panic. I'm desperate to get out of this place now. I'm not even stopping by my mates. I'm just friggin' running.
So yeah, he blows past you guys then. Mike checks what you guys do as you see him, and obviously this is a clear panic. You can still hear the laughing from this room, but you can also hear this sort of slapping wet sound.
I'm going to start slowly backing down the hallway towards the direction of the boiler room where Russell ran, just to keep an eye on whatever might be coming at us.
Gotcha. Checks.
I mean, I'd be curious to know what's in the room, but I think seeing Mike back away, my yellow streak would get yellower, and I would back off as well. My yellow streak is currently running down my left leg at the moment.
So as you turn, deciding better not to go check what's in the room, take a few steps, checks, and all of a sudden your head just yanks back. Give me a drop, please.
Okay. 3, 11, 17.
All right. So you feel your head get yanked back, your feet almost go out from underneath you, but you can't feel the hand, but it feels like somebody grabbed the back of your mullet as you were trying to run away and just stopped you dead in your tracks. You see your feet go up and you just slam down onto the ground. Like as you're starting to back away, you see Chex as he turns to take that movement and then just, goes up in the air and lands on the ground. Behind him, holding the back of his hair, the party side of his mullet, is this old-looking hag lady you saw once before. She has the back of his hair gripped. She gives you this very sinister-looking smile, toothless black gums, and turns and just starts dragging him down the hallway, back towards the room with this thing in it.
No. And I'll go running up and try to grab Chex.
And do what with him? You can grab him, like grab his legs or something without a
I'm
problem.
going to grab him right by the chest. See if I can grab his shirt. Just kind of... Or is he getting dragged?
Yeah, he's getting dragged by the back of his hair. He's on his back on the ground, getting dragged by the back of his hair.
Ground. I'll grab his boots.
You see this hag turn kind of towards you, and she just kind of waves her hand towards you. Give me a drop, please.
20, 11, 1.
Unfortunately, those 20s do not help. That's an ultimate roll, but she kind of waves her hand out, and it just feels like getting slammed in the chest by a 20-pound weight. You just feel yourself get thrown back. You can hear the cracking within your body of these ribs that shatter, this hard, gasping breath as it knocks the wind from you. There's nothing there. You can see this big bruise starting to form right in the center of your chest, though. And she just continues to drag Chex away. With that, Mike, because this is the third act, that means you're critical. So every time you make a drop from now on, add one more D20 to your pool before making the roll. But yeah, you feel that. You can feel some of your ribs are snapped. As you go to sit up, you can thinking maybe one of them has punctured a lung or something because you're just gasping for breath. You can see a little bit of blood in the back of your throat that you cough up. It's not looking well. Russell, as you run down the hallway, you can hear that all of a sudden slam of Mike as he hits the ground. If you turn back, you can see this hag dragging Chex away, Mike on the ground, gasping for breath. You're right at the T section of the hallway. To the right, you can see the boiler room door, but it's closed. And then to the left is, again, just doorways that are all closed.
Now the question is, do I find a little bit of courage to go back and help Mark? Kind of turn, and I'm watching. Do I see the hair kind of slink off with Chex?
Yep, you can see her as she's starting to drag him away. It looks like she's dragging him back towards that room where you've seen the maggot thing.
I kind of look towards the boiler room. I look towards Mark. I look back towards the boiler room, and I go, "God damn it!" And I friggin' start running back towards Mark to go and pick him up and fetch him.
All right. Yeah, you'll be able to, get back up there to him and help him up. You can see he's just gasping for breath. Blood kind of flecks out when he breathes, and he's coughing. You can see the bruise on his chest forming. And like 10 feet away, Chex getting dragged. So what are you doing, Chex, as you're getting dragged by your party mullet across the ground? As you kind of scrabble and stuff, you can just feel your hand, your body slipping in the blood that's covering this hallway all of a sudden again.
Yeah, trying to desperately reach and grab the hand that's pulling at my used to be fabulous mullet. Well, shit. I'm going to try and grab, just to brace myself and try and sit up a bit and try and get free, even if it rips the hair out.
Yeah, you're grabbing at this arm behind you, and as you kind of pull away or scrape at it, trying to get a hold of it, you can feel the flesh just pulling away from this thing, and this gore covering your hands already. But give me a drop. See what happens.
4, 10, 12.
Nice. Should be 3 dice now because it's third act.
Yep. 4, 10, 12.
Oh, good. Yeah, you're able to pull up, and if you want to add another die to your pool, you can rip out a chunk of hair to get away. That's your choice.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be done.
So add another die in there then, and yeah, you can just hear this ripping sort of sound. You can feel the pain in the back of your skull as you rip a chunk of your hair out, partially scalping your bit of your... Now it's a little less party. It's more like kind of pigtails, but it's still badass, I guess.
Now I'm pissed.
And as you pull yourself away, you kind of scrabble to your feet a little bit. She turns around, looking at all of you. Russell, you get the sense that you're being watched or something. You just kind of look over your shoulder, and you can see the same girl that Chex was talking about from the philosophy class, the good-looking one that sits behind him, standing right at the end of this Teed tunnel, right in the kind of center corner of it, staring back at you guys. Again, she has what looks to be a bit of somebody's arm or something in her hand that she's holding that just drips down with blood, covered in this thin, sheer silken gown that's all shredded apart. And then she just starts calmly walking towards you.
Okay. Did Mike say in the beginning that his character carries a knife in his boot?
Yeah, I have a boot knife.
Yeah, I'll just got a flash of inspiration, and I'll grab that knife out of his boot. The way I've pictured it is I've got him sort of around, holding up with my left hand, and I'm right-handed, so the knife is in my right hand. Where's Chex now?
He'd be about 15 feet in front of you, getting up from the ground, part of his mullet left behind.
I kind of move towards, and then in front of him it's that woman coming towards us, right?
Behind you would be the woman coming towards you, and next to him would be the hag looking at it, all of you.
Oh, okay. But where's the beautiful girl coming from? The one with the holding the hand?
That's coming up from behind you, from basically where you ran back from.
Ah, okay, I'm with you. I go, hold on, Mike. Just hold on. Chex. We've got to actually just try and make it to the boiler room. This is getting ridiculous. I think that's our only chance.
Ripped at my mullet, man.
I go, for fuck's sakes, it will grow back. I go, here's enough. give him enough. Go get her, and point to the beautiful girl coming towards us. I'll help with Mark. I'll be just behind.
I go to step forward, and then I stop, and I rummage around in my vest, and I pull out a bandana. And I'm going to do this right. I put the bandana on, and rush forward, screaming Manowar's battle cry. Which is indecipherable. Of course.
As Russell holds on to you, Mike, and he kind of helps you up. You're still gasping for breath. You kind of weak standing there from it, but you feel this cold little hand grab a hold of yours too. If you look over to the side, you can see the small girl right beside you, holding your hand. This long black greasy. You can't see her face, just this long black greasy hair. This dress that she had is kind of covered in flowers. Looks like it was nice at one time, but now it's just covered in blood and dirt and grime, torn up a little bit.
Yeah. I will take some of the foaming blood that's in my mouth and just spit it at her.
You kind of see it splatter across her hair, and she yanks her hand away, sort of almost afraid like. She'll take a few steps back, and she just seems to melt into the wall, just fade away into the wall. You can see this hag that's still there. Her smile gets a little bit bigger. She looks at all of you, this toothless, black, decaying gum sort of grin. She just lets out this sinister, almost deep, guttural, demonic-like laugh. Chex, what do you want to do as you're running your battle cry and running down the hall?
I mean, I've got the knife kind of in my hand like that as I'm running, and as I run towards, I'm going to invent something, because I don't think this was done in the 80s. At least wasn't turned. I'm going to invent parkour. I'm going to jump, brace myself, and bounce it off the wall and try and bring it down.
You see as you run toward her, she kind of lifts what's left of this meaty sort of arm up like she's going to club you with it as you parkour off the wall and try to stab her. Go ahead and give me a drop.
This is going to go horribly wrong, isn't it? 3, 5, 17, 12.
Yeah, you can come around. You can feel your blade sink into her collarbone, neck area as it sinks in. You can feel the flesh part. You dig it all the way to the hilt with the force of your whole body coming down. But you can also feel the heavy thump of this raw, ripped apart arm thump against the side of your head. So you can kind of fly to the side. You hit the ground hard, your whole head ringing a little bit. And you can hear this girl's scream. All of you can hear the scream. And if you look at her, you can see the blood just pouring down her chest, soaking this silken gown that she has on. This knife's just kind of buried into the side of her collarbone and neck, blood kind of spurting out everywhere. Russell and Mike, what do you guys do?
So I'm carrying on assisting with Mike, trying to move as fast as possible towards Chex, and we're trying to get to the boiler room as quickly as possible.
All right.
Yep.
This girl seems to panic a little bit. As the blood, she quickly starts to bleed out. Even when she goes to try and grab it, she makes that fatal error of just pulling it out anyway, and she just ends up bleeding on the ground for the most part. She doesn't try to stop you guys as you go by or anything. She's dying. You get down into the teed hallway. Like I said, to the left is just doorways and dorms and lounges and stuff, but you can see the boiler room to your right. Is everybody heading down that way?
Yeah.
Yep.
I reckon that's the place to start. We're looking for an exit.
All right.
I mean, if I can pick up the knife as we go, ideal.
Yeah, I'll say you can.
Because I'm kind of looking at this girl like, did I just do the right thing?
See this hand kind of reach towards you, Chex, as if trying to get some help, but it just kind of flops onto the ground as the last bit of life kind of leaves her, pouring out of her neck. All right. Move down this hallway. When you get up to this boiler room door, you go to grab the handle. You can feel that it's locked. It's a pretty heavy door, not as like the modern ones, but it's still a decent heavy door. But it is locked.
Try something I saw in TJ Hooker. So it was in last night's episode. I pull out a plastic card as my student card, and I try and kind of jimmy the lock open.
Oh, nice. Go ahead and give me a drop.
Okay. Okay, not too bad. 17, 12, 18, 13.
Nice. Yeah, it takes a few seconds, but you're able to jimmy that lock in there, catch that little latch thing, whatever it's called, and pull it. You can see the door swings inward. So it finally catches and it swings open just a couple inches, creaking open, just darkness beyond on the other side of this. But you're immediately hit with a strong smell of soot and ash, old, like a wood stove smells like, basically. Just kind of wafts out of this room. Behind you, you can see the hag turn this corner, looking down at this girl. She'll reach down and grabs the girl by the hair and kind of lifts her up, and almost like she's propping her on her feet. And you can see this girl's whole body go rigid, almost puppet-like, and then start shambling behind this hag as she turns to continue walking towards you guys.
Okay, everybody in, and kind of lock the door behind us.
Guys go through this doorway, maybe slam it behind you. It's nice and cool in this room. Again, it smells like a fire, basically, but it is fairly cool in here. As you're all moving in, turn around facing the door, you shut it, but as soon as the door slams, there's a soft reddish glow from behind you. It gets a little bit brighter, and then a little bit brighter, and then it takes on more, almost like natural lighting, as if there was a window or something. But as you all turn around, you can see what's not expected. You don't see the boiler room, you don't see the boiler or any of the piping or furnaces or anything. All you see is what looks to be this long hallway. You can see a stained glass window up high on the ceiling, good 30 feet or so. On the other side, you can see where there's sunlight coming through, but it's just this red stained glass window, so it's just bathing this whole room in this red light. You can see tapestries hanging on the walls. It looks almost exactly like a church pew type area. Up further ahead, you can see an altar, a couple steps leading up to it. And you see a girl hanging from an upside-down crucifix. She has her hands bound on either side, up above her head. She's completely naked, cuts covering her entire body, scratches like she's been attacked by feral cats or something, just covering her body, bleeding out everywhere. Hands are bound up above her head, hanging from this upturned crucifix. Her head hangs forward. She's breathing, barely, but she is breathing. And you can see they look like little kids, sort of, but they look very old. Their skin is weathered and drawn tight. They have no teeth. Their eyes are saggy, so they look like very, very old people in little kid bodies, sort of. Scaling around her, they all hold scissors, and every now and then they'll just run by and slice bits and pieces of this girl as they cut her. And on either side of them, you see two nuns dressed all in black, standing, their hands kind of crossed in front of them, watching them.
I'll say, hello? Hello? And trying to catch the attention of the nuns.
They'll both slowly sort of look over in your direction. Now, snap their fingers. You see all these little old people sort of stop and look in your direction. They just watch.
Shit.
Behind you, you can feel that door, and there's a heavy thump against the door, and then another thump against the door. It gives way. You can see a little, kind of gives out just a little bit.
So the way I kind of picture this in my head is like it's like a close up of my face, kind of sweating. Mark's my arms around Mark, and Mark's arms around me, and then there's the kind of that slam, and the first slam, like my body just kind of like jumps, like, and kind of jump again with each kind of thinking like, oh my God, impending doom.
Russell, put me up against the door.
I go, Mike, are you delirious? Man,
No,
I can't put...
I could do it. I could brace my feet. I can keep that door shut.
So I kind of walk a little bit backwards and lean him against the door.
And I'll slide down with my back on the door, and I'll bring my knees up and kind of lock my boots down onto the concrete there, and just brace as hard as I can.
You see, it's broken up a little bit here and there, and there's probably some you would expect it to be like piping or something around, but you can just see bits of wood and things like that on the floor. You can definitely put your full weight into the door to hold it for the time being. Yeah.
And I'll say to the nuns, all we want to do is go home.
They all both turn and they kind of put their hands together so their hands go in between the sleeves there, and they all step down these steps and slowly walk forward. As they get closer and closer into view, you can see that their faces are pale, just completely white. These bluish sort of black and blue like lips, no eyes in their eye sockets. It's just a hollow black. And it seems with each step that they get closer and closer, it gets more grisly. You can see part of the skin is rotting off here and there in their faces, and then you can see the skull beneath it. As they're about 20 feet away from you, you can definitely see that they're not normal looking nuns at all. But one of them will pull out their hands and they just hold it up as if wishing for you to stop. And they hold it there for a few moments. Then they just point right at you, Russell. You see all four of these little old kid things drop it down almost onto all fours and just scrabble across the floor towards you. What do you do?
Jeez, I think the upside down crucifix should have been a sort of a warning, right? Okay. How far away are they from me?
But man, probably like 30 feet or so. They're just scrabbling across, spider-like almost across the floor on all fours towards you.
We're not in the boiler room, right? We're in this sort of chapel, this cathedral, whatever it is.
Yep.
Okay. Is there a sort of ceremonial candlestick nearby? Anything that I could use as a weapon?
Oh, sure, definitely, yeah. Candlesticks, whatever you can think of, really. You can see what used to be maybe like pews and stuff going up through, but then most of those are kind of shattered, and then the altar and stuff at the far end. But yeah, whatever you might find that's normally in a church, yeah.
So the pews, I guess, being shattered, there's a lot of sharp wood on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll pick up a piece of wood in each hand, ready to kind of use them in like a spear-like type of fashion, or more like a stabbing type of motion.
They don't seem to be afraid of you at all. So yeah, they just keep scrabbling forward, and they just all four leap at you at once. Why don't you go ahead and give me a drop?
Okay. $15, $12, $14, $19.
All right. You can see one of them leaps forward. Go ahead and describe what you do to it. I'll say you can kill the one.
Yeah, so as one comes in midair, I just, because I guess the adrenaline's just pulsing through my body, there is one perfect moment where the stabbing motion, so it's almost like a hammer from behind my head coming forward, and it hits into the skull. This kid's jumping at me, and it breaks through the skull, and it embeds itself deep inside whatever organ is inside this thing's brain, and that's what I do for that. It's just like the one perfect Zen-like motion because of the adrenaline.
Beautiful. Yeah, this thing hits the ground. As they got closer, you could see the skin is pulled real tight over the bones. They have these sharp little serrated teeth. Their eyes are sort of slanted and like snake eyes almost. Just that real thin slanted sort of pupil in between each. Their hands, 6 fingers on each hand. Their toes have multiple toes. They're definitely not kids as per se. They just kind of have that appearance at first. But the other 3 are on you in an instant. One of them's trying to stab at you with the scissors. Another one's grabbing a hold of your ankles, trying to trip you up. Another one you can see crawling up the back, trying to get to your neck. Checks. What do you do?
Knife still in hand. I should go and help Russell, but I'm going to shout at the nuns. Call them off.
They just stare at you with these blank skull-like sort of faces. They don't seem to really even acknowledge you're there.
Yeah, I'll wait for them to ignore me, essentially. All right, you asked for it. I'm actually going to rush forward and try and stab one of the nuns.
All right. Go ahead and give me a drop.
2, 15, 11, 20.
Nice. Yeah, go ahead and describe what you do to one then.
I grab the nearest one by the habit and just start stabbing madly.
As you stab into this thing, you can feel it pass through the road, but it seems like it's just scraping on bone. You can hear a scrape. You don't seem to be hitting any sort of flesh or anything. Part of the robe flipped away, and it is just a complete skeleton underneath. A few bones break here and there, but doesn't seem too phased. You can feel it kind of reach around, grabs, I guess maybe by both hands, grabs the two halves of your mullet that are still left, your pigtails, and just starts to try and pull you off of it as you're stabbing at it and swinging. Behind you, Mike, you can feel the door just constantly smashing once and twice. Third time, it starts to give way a little bit. With each smash, you can feel your ribs grind against one another. This other one punctured deep, a little bit deeper into your lungs. Go ahead and give me 2 drops, please. So the first one will be with whatever dice you have now. Second one will be with one more die.
Okay, that is 9, 13, 2, 4, 1. And then one more.
Yep.
With an extra die.
Yep.
16, 20, 13, 11, 11, 4.
Technically, you didn't need that second one, but I just want to see if you got another one, because that first one you got is going to kill you. However, there'll be a moment before that happens. So you feel another one grab a hold of your legs, and then these sharp teeth bite into your leg, Russell. A scissor start to scrape across your left thigh, opening up this little gash. It's almost like a straight razor across your thigh. You feel another one come up, and it just wraps its hands around your face, these nails scraping in. Go ahead and give me 2 drops, Russell.
Okay. So it's 40, 20, then 5d20, is that right? Or just...
Nope, just the 40-20 for you because you're not critical.
Okay, cool.
Unless you get a 1 on the first one. Look.
No, I don't. 13, 12, 19, 8.
Okay, and then just
And
one
the
more.
second one, 13, 11, 16, 5.
All right. So you are good. I'll let you go ahead and describe what you do next, and then we'll swing back around to Mike in a moment.
So
you got...
I see these things like trying to crawl all over me. One is got a piece of sort of wooden plank sticking out of its head, and I can see that Chex is sort of stabbing and pulling at the nun. And what I'll do is I'll just run at the nun, and again just using my full body weight to kind of ram into the nun and push. And this is the one Chex is fighting, and just try and flatten her.
Nice. Okay, yeah, give me one more drop. See if you can do it.
9, 6, 18, 15.
Nice. Yeah, you rush forward. These things are hanging on, just constantly scraping at you, biting you, trying to cut at you with these little scissors that it has, but you're able to smash into this skeletal-like nun. You can see this flash in the corner of your eye checks as he rushes forward and piles onto this thing. Underneath the weight of you and checks as you fall forward on top of this thing, you can just see bones shatter underneath you guys in all directions. And this puff of air escapes from this thing's mouth, and the bones just kind of pile across the ground. Those 3 little kid things that are still on you also almost stop at an instant, as if surprised for a moment. Off to the side, you can see the other nun quickly turn around and claps their hands twice, and they all kind of step off of you for a second, Russell. And they'll glance around, they look over at this nun, and she just points a finger over where Mike is. Mike, you see all 3 of them just drop down on all fours and run towards you. One leaps in the air. You can see it buries its scissors deep right into the side of your face. Another one grabs a hold of your leg. Go ahead and describe what these 3 little demon-y kids do to you, Mike.
Slowly but surely, they begin to rend me, tissue by tissue, muscle fiber by muscle fiber. And I can't even scream at this point because the blood filling my lungs just starts gurgling out and frothing until there's nothing left but pulp.
Oh man.
So you guys see as he goes under the weight of these things, and with that, the door smashes again and swings open. You can see this old hag standing there, and she steps in behind her. This beautiful young girl who used to be in your philosophy class, just all jagged and jerking about, almost puppet-like, following in behind her. Mike, you have one fortune point from now until the end that you can use to help somebody or hinder somebody. That's up to you how you do it, and you get to describe how you help or hinder them. Being that you're mostly pulp, probably wouldn't necessarily be you, but you can jinx them and be like, checks trips, or he gets a moment of inspiration in my memory. Whatever, anything you can possibly come up with, you can use it for.
Okie doke.
And just jump in at any moment.
Okay.
And that includes the bad guys too. If you want them to suddenly suck at something, then go ahead and say it. Russell checks. So you guys see that, and you can see these three little demonic kid things just seem to be slurping up Mike by the fibrous muscles and fingers and whatever else he's got left there. They just, like zombies, just eating him alive, basically. What do you guys do?
Jeez. Friggin' hell. So the one that we've just slammed down, that one's finished, right?
Yeah,
As far as
it's
we
not
can tell.
moving. Yep. Yeah, and then you got the other nun off to the side, is like 20 feet off to where your left is. The three little demon kids eating Mike, and then the hag and the young girl in the doorway behind you. As you look around, again, it still looks like this church cathedral sort of thing. You can see up above, and you hear this creak sort of sound as all of you look up. You can see where that painted red window is up above. It's about 30 feet up, right in the center of the cathedral. It flips a little bit, and you can see it goes outside. You can see the sunlight and sky and everything up there. It looks like basically a window. And you see an old lady peek her head through. You guys immediately recognize her as the homeless lady that's constantly walking around campus and stuff. And she kind of looks around, spotting, kind of setting her eyes on you as you look at her. And then she just steps back, and you see the door or the window kind of hinge back closed.
Is there any way to kind of get to that window from our point, like sort of where we are?
Yeah, there's tapestries around. Maybe if you could somehow get up into the rafters, you could get to it.
What about if you climb on the girl on the crucifix?
Yeah, that's what I was.
Yeah, is it possible to climb up?
That would get you up to the top of there where the rafters are, and then you just go across the rafters. But yes,
That's what I'm going to do. Fuck it.
Yes. Yeah, I'll follow you. So it's kind of like an upside down crucifix. So the two outward arms are going to be good footholds, so to speak, I guess.
As you shimmy up, yeah, as you get to her, you can still see her. She's alive, unconscious, slightly breathing. I don't know if that matters to either of you any, but she just kind of dangles there on this thing. If you want to climb up there, though, I'll need a drop.
Oh, 3 12s and a 13.
Oh, I thought I said 3 fails. All right. Yeah, check. You can run over.
I do it.
Go for it. Give me your drop 2 then.
I got 20, 11, 13, and 6.
All right. Checks you over there first, and you start to scrabble up. You get on one side and start to pull yourself up. Russell, as you get there, you start to climb up as well. You get about halfway up where this girl's face would be. You can see her head snaps back. When it does, you can see her face has been just completely shredded by these scissors. Her lips hang off, and partly one of her eyes hangs out of its socket. Her forehead, the whole top part's been kind of skinned, so it just kind of hangs down almost like a brim of a hat over top of her eyes. And when she opens her mouth, you can see all of her teeth are serrated down through. Give me one more drop, Russell.
Oh, I'm still hanging on. 20, 10, 15, 4.
All right. She opens her mouth, and it's almost like this black goop. It just comes out and splatters across your face. You can feel it get into your mouth, burning your eyes, and it just dribbles down. Tastes extremely foul and bitter. And then checks as you look over and can see she vomited this black stuff all over him. It seems to almost start to crawl across his face, crawls towards his ears, starting to push itself into his mouth. You end up losing hold of this handhold you have, Russell, and you hit the ground sort of hard as the stuff's trying to crawl into all of your different orifices and across your face. Behind that, checks as you're halfway up. You're almost like right at the top where the rafters are. You can see that old hag walking across the floor towards where he's at.
Well, you know, there's two types of people in this world. There's the people that would leave no man behind, and then there's me. See ya.
You bastard.
With that,
I wish you know what type I am now.
with that check, you grab the first rafter, and it feels cold, like almost like metal. And then you grab the second one, and that too feels cold. They feel strange. And you start to pull yourself up to where this window is towards this light. And you can hit the top of that window, and it just flings right open. Outside, you can see sunlight, sky, the green grass in front of you. All these rafters seem nice and cold to the touch, though, as you start to pull yourself up. Give me one more roll, Chucks.
And there's the one you were looking for, Morgan.
Sweet. Yeah, you pull out as your hand reaches where this windowsill is. It gives it that slight bit of slip. You can feel your feet swing out underneath you. As you swing forward, everything around you almost melts away again, like that oil painting feeling. And you can see that you're actually halfway inside of an old coal chute, pulling yourself up this ladder. Up above, you can see just night sky. When you look back down below, you can see Russell spread out across the ground, this old hag standing over top of him right next to the boiler system. And then you can feel yourself slip. And as you do, you slide down a little bit, and one of these sharp sides of this metal tubing from this coal chute cuts, and you feel it just slightly at the side of your, right on the side, like your love handle area, and then it digs deeper and just scrapes all the way up through your chest, and it finally hooks you right underneath your elbow in your armpit, kind of pulling up through your collarbone, so you're stuck sort of there with this jagged piece of metal sticking out. Your feet hanging outside of the chute. Up above, you can see the hole at the top of the chute, and the outside, you can feel this nice cool breeze rush down through. Down at the bottom, Russell, as you're spread out on the ground, you can feel, you can only see like the cathedral around you, but you can see checks as he's starting to pull himself through the window up above. It seems to suddenly hesitate for some reason. But this black goop is just trying to get into your mouth, trying to get into your ears. And then you see this old hag standing above you. So you're kind of flat on your back looking up at her.
So I guess my hand will kind of feel around me, like desperately, like in the movies, like anything that it could use as a weapon, like a piece of stone or any of that wood that it kind of picks up, and try and use that to yeah. So he kind of furiously and he's tremendously frightened, like his hands come across a piece of wood. His fingers close, or my fingers close around the wood, and then I bring it up to the temple of the hag.
Nice. Go ahead and give me a drop.
Okay. So far, I'm hanging on, Morgan. I guess 17, 8, and 2 14s.
Oh, that's actually pretty good. Yeah, you can just come up, and you can see that this big, heavy part of what must have been a leg or one of the pews or something one time, and it smashes her directly in the side of the face. Seems completely unprepared, as one hand was kind of reaching down to grab a hold of you. And you can just see her head whip to the side, and this black blood splatter across this young lady that was in your class. Her whole body, this young girl, puppet-like girl, whatever, just collapses to the ground. But you see this hag step back and hold up to her face, and the whole side of her face is just shattered from this thing. That'll give you time to get up and do whatever you want to do.
Yeah, so I would definitely be trying to get out. So climbing the upside down crucifix, trying to get to that window.
All right. You're able to scrabble up that thing in a bit of a hurry. Once you get to those rafters, you can feel that they're nice and cold to the touch, which seems weird, being that they're wood, but they feel cold. And you step moving across those. You can get to that window, but Chex is hanging halfway out. As you get up there, you notice that it's a piece of glass that has been caught in between his armpit, kind of tearing up through his collarbone, that he's partly outside of it and hanging, the back end of it is hanging down out, but he seems to be caught on this glass that's just tearing apart the side of him. I don't know what you do about that, though.
Is he still alive?
Yep. Well,
Is
Chex
he
out.
halfway up the coal chute?
Yes. Well, he sees himself halfway up the coal chute. Yes. Russell, you see him halfway out the window. But yes.
Okay.
And, yeah.
So I go. Don't worry, buddy. We're gonna make it out of this. And so I kind of break the glass that's coming out the back end of him, kind of like screaming agony, because I have no medical training whatsoever. Just seems logical to me.
Yeah.
So I kind of push the glass until it reaches a point where it breaks, and then try and use his body weight or my strength to take his body weight and jump through the window.
So Chex, you can see him come behind you, and then he just starts yanking on this metal shiv that's caught between your pit and cut all the way up your side. You can feel it just tearing deeper and deeper, shredding apart your arm, your armpit, your shoulder blade. Go ahead and give me a drop first.
Yeah, I imagine it's so much pain that all I can do is scream. You know, that way you're in so much pain that you actually reflectively vomit as well. I'll try and aim it away from you, Russell, don't worry. 10, 12 to 9 and 17.
All right. So yeah, he seems to get a hold of that. He rips it out finally free, but being that held all of your weight, you feel yourself slide back. I need both of you to make me a drop to hang on to this and not be falling out.
2, 7, 5, and 11, Morgan.
Uh, 10, 11, 17, 13, 5.
All right. So as you shatter this bit of glass, or he shoves this bit of metal out of your shoulder, Chex, and you give him a shove forward. So as you pull yourself up, you can all of a sudden, everything around you sort of manifests into this old metal tube, sheet metal tube around you, and you can feel a ladder that you're looking at that you're holding on to. You can see what was tearing apart into Chex's shoulder was actually a piece of metal. Your hands all cut up as you're trying to break this thing free. Behind you, down below, you can see the boiler system. And you can see this old hag just on the ground holding at her face where you smashed it. Excuse me. With that, you give Chex a bit of a shove and start to push him out of this tube and start to make your way up. Timer went off for this, so I'll have you both make me one last check. Both of you give me a drop to see if you can make it out.
Oops.
Can I have the homeless woman show up?
Sure. Is she going to help?
No, she's going to stay at the top of the tube, and she's going to have one of the car batteries from her shopping cart. And she goes, "Dead things are supposed to stay dead," and throws the battery down at the.
Nice. In that case, Chex, give me 2 drops first.
Okay.
And then, being that you're critical, add a die each time.
Yep. It's a lot of dice. Okay. So everything on that is higher than a 10. Oh, I don't know die. And there's a 1.
Oh,
There's
right.
2 ones actually.
All right. And Russell, give me 2 drops. You're not critical, so.
okay. Okay, no one's there. Second one. And Morgan, I'm afraid this one got the 1.
All right. So, Chex, why don't you describe what happens to you first, because that would kill you.
I look up, I can feel the breeze. I can smell fresh air. I look up just in time to hear this woman scream, "Dead things stay dead." And the next thing I know, hurtling towards me is this battery, which takes me right square between the eyes and sends me backwards, flipping over. I guess we're stuck. This is I can feel the shoot, even though I can't really see it. So I can feel myself smash off either side. And then there's a moment where I stop and I find myself dangling. And I feel around the back of my head for a moment, twitchy, where my glorious mullet used to be. And I can feel the shard of broken metal sticking into the back of my head. And then I go limp.
Nice. You see Chex go hurtling past you back down the chute, Russell. It does. It kind of shoves you back, and you can feel that pit of that glass, which was actually metal, that you were able to break free from him, just tear up into the side of your thigh and get lodged in there. You'd be critical, but not dead. So you're able to continue pulling yourself up and out onto this grass. And as you pull yourself free from the chute, you realize it's the middle of the night. You can see the stars overhead. It seems kind of cloudy. As you pull yourself out of the chute, this cold, wet grass where it's been raining kind of wraps around you. You can see this old homeless lady pushing her cart as she walks away, muttering herself if the damn zombies got out again or something. And you can feel the drizzle on your rein, and then everything just goes black. You could feel a rough hand shaking you. Shakes you again as you open your eyes, Russell. You look around, you can see this bright blue sky overhead. The grass is still damp, and you can hear voices, all these people talking, and you can pounding migraine. And as you kind of sit up and look, you see these bright flashing lights next to you in these cop cars. And as your eyes sort of adjust, you're just surrounded by this ring of people that are all sort of looking on. Everything's been cordoned off. You can see police trying to get people to go away. Other cops starting to come in, trying to break up the mob that's going around you. If you look over to your left, you can see what's left of Mike, just completely butchered apart. Teeth marks gnawing away, bones, intestines, everything spilled out across the ground. And right next to him, Chex lies face down on the ground, this big metal bit of shard in the back of his skull going up through, and it can kind of juts out of one of his eyes, almost staking him to the ground. When you look around, you are covered in blood. You seem mostly uninjured. You don't have that big shard in your leg or anything. You're cut up a little bit. You can feel you're bitten a little bit, beaten up and sore. Next to you lies what looks to be like a 10-pound mallet. And right next to where Mike is this simple dagger that you had, that you were using. You are just completely covered in blood, though. And you cough a little bit, and as you feel something, you kind of scrape it out of your mouth. You pull out what looks to be a bit of raw flesh, human flesh from your mouth. And to the side, behind you, these two guys grab shoulders on either side of you and heave you up as they shackle your arms behind you and start leading you to the cop car. And that's the end of the story. Any final words anybody wants to give?
And as they lead me into the cop car and put me into the backseat of the cop car, for a brief moment, if there was anybody watching me, they would have seen sort of black orbs for eyes and like a tiny white pupil. And then my eyes would have been fine again.
Beautiful.
Nice.
And that is the end, fellas. So thank you very much.
Very good.
Awesome, Morgan.
Stop this.
Awesome.
Okay.